Recently in the news, a man unknowingly signed a contract by simply sending a thumbs up emoji on WhatsApp. This brings us to a question today on Legal Talk. What counts as signing and what does not count? Joining us from Hahn and Hahn Attorneys is Olebogeng Mangena. Olebogeng, welcome back to Legal Talk. Hope you're well.
Thank you, Johan. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So that was quite an interesting story that we saw in the news. And we have to ask a few questions now because, you never know if you may be agreeing to something or signing a contract by simply sending an emoji. So you got to be really careful. What is a signature and what constitutes it?
A signature is a stylistic representation of a person's name, surname, or initials that is applied to a particular document, such as a contract. And there are many things, or rather many ways of signing or maybe making a particular act that would now be recognized as signature. For example, a person can now do an electronic signature. You don't really have to physically sign a contract.
Electronic signatures, or e-signatures as they're called, and they're completely valid.
Yeah, they're completely valid. Can be bound by it.
Yeah, exactly. So how are contracts governed by South African law signed? And considering the Canadian court had found that this thumbs up emoji has an effect of binding a person to a contract, do you think the South African courts could have reached the same conclusion?
Definitely. I think that it could have reached the same conclusion, given the ECTA Act. It recognized the electronic signature. In particular, if we refer to Section 13 of the ECT Act, if I may quote, it says that an electronic signature is not without legal force and effect merely on the ground that it is in an electronic form. So I think our courts could have came to the same conclusion. A contract does not need to be in writing or physically signed, unless maybe a specific law or there's a statutory requirement that necessitates the written and word-in signature.
Okay, and just for those who aren't certain, what exactly is an electronic signature?
So an electronic signature is a legally recognized means of conveying the statutory consent of a person to the contents of a particular document. So in essence, it's a data that is attached and incorporated in and logically associated with other data, and which is also intended by that particular person, the user, to serve as a signature.
Okay, and in what instances do we use this, Olebogeng? Can it be in an email? Is it for contracts or anything?
Yeah, and an electronic signature can be used for emails and contracts. However, there are transactions that prohibits the use of an electronic signature.
Okay, and what are the methods available for signing?
I'm going to name only 3 methods that I think they are most sufficient for purposes of signing, which is the obvious. The wet ink signature, which is a custom and traditional method where the parties sign the particular contract with their names with the pen on a physical document. And we also have the electronic signatures that I just mentioned, and also the advanced electronic signatures.
Is an electronic signature legally recognized in South Africa?
Yes, an electronic signature is recognized in South Africa, and also there are legislation that provides for the use of that.
Okay, in what circumstances does the law prohibit the use of electronic signatures?
Electronic signatures are not permitted to be used in executing documents such as a will or a codicil, and also contract that relate to the alienation of immovable property, the bill of exchange, and also the long-term agreements for immovable property.
Okay, and when will electronic signatures be binding?
It's binding and valid when the method is used to identify the person and to indicate the person's approval or consent of the information communicated.
So what you're saying is electronic signatures in most cases, they have the same legal status as wet ink signatures.
Yes, they do have the same status. I mean, if an electronic signature is inserted into a document with the intention of signing a particular document, it should have the same status as a wet ink document. I mean, you are accepting the terms of a particular document.
Okay, so in conclusion, for today's legal talk, yes, it is totally legal. It's got the same legal status as wet ink signatures. You can use an electronic signature on a contract, whatever, but there are exceptions such as a will where you cannot use it, an electronic signature. Then you've got to still use the wet ink.
Yeah, definitely. You must use that
right.
one.
So,
because it's regulated by legislation, so you must also take into account the requirements of that particular legislation.
Exactly. So that answers our question for this week on Legal Talk. Olebogeng Mangena from Hahn and Hahn Attorneys, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Are you or your business in trouble and struggling to find a solution? Call Hahn and Hahn Attorneys as we assist clients in finding solutions. We specialize in consumer and food law, commercial and construction law, forensic investigations and administrative law. Visit hahnlaw.co.za. That's HAHN. We assist clients nationwide. Hahn and Hahn Attorneys, because we care. Don't miss Legal Talk with Hahn and Hahn Attorneys, Wednesday mornings at 10 on eRadio.